Let's see. All right, I am live. And let's hope to God TikTok actually goes live. It looks like it's working. Woo! Woo! All right. Let me grab my Substack here. This may have worked. Well, let's see. Let's see what the follower count is on TikTok first, because that's the big issue as to whether any of this works. And I don't know that I can see the comments on TikTok. Ha ha ha. That'll be yes, oh frick. That's gonna be the next fun thing here. Yeah, trying to see the TikTok comments is gonna be fun. I don't think I can see them on here. Or is that what Nebraska, where are you? Are you on TikTok or are you on YouTube? Oh, you're on YouTube. You're on YouTube. Okay, yeah, I don't think the TikTok followers. Hi, Ash. Yes, it's not going to. See, that's the one downside. It doesn't show me the comments. It doesn't show me the comments. That's rude. So rude. All right. All right, I'm going to have to move my TikTok screen. Now I'm going to have like a fourth screen here so I can see the comments on TikTok. Oh, I can grab the comment box. That's true. All right. I grabbed the TikTok comment box separately. All right. Let me put this back here. All right. I may be able to pull this off today. Anyway, welcome, guys. We're sort of playing with the tech stuff a little crazily here, but I think it might be okay. All right. I've got my TikTok comments. I can see that. You know what? The only thing is I won't be able to see GIFs. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Oh, I can't do this where I can't see GIFs. Hold on. And I'm not seeing it update on the actual page here, which is very annoying. Oh, that's annoying. So the stream is working on TikTok? I don't like this. It's not going to let me see the GIFs. Oh, I don't like this at all. Oh, TikTok, why are you so evil? Yeah, I don't know what no means. I don't know what no means. Yeah, the word no doesn't mean anything by itself. We use verbs and subjects and everything else. It's not moving on TikTok. It froze. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. So TikTok went live and it stopped. Okay, guys, seriously, I need real feedback here. Yeah, don't, all right. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm not sure why it did that. Weird. All right, for some reason, TikTok was being weird, and I don't know why. It stopped, and now it's back. I have no idea why. Okay, no clue. Huh, very strange. Very strange. All right. Oh, my God, this is so hard. Yeah, Jens, I don't know where here is. YouTube. So wait, YouTube's not moving now? Yeah, okay. It froze everywhere, and I don't know why. That's really weird. Yeah, this is honestly, I think this is going to be too much trouble to stream to too many places. You know? Yeah, this is too much. I think this is too much trouble, to be honest. I don't like this. I'm trying to basically get TikTok working with everything else to see if I can like stream to TikTok when I stream to everybody else. But this is really hard, and I don't think I can see the GIFs. Like do a little heart or something on the screen. It's not showing me the GIFs. Oh, they're at the top. Oh, God. Okay, Annie, thank you. You know what it is? It throws the GIFs at the top, and they go away. Oh, that's not good either. TikTok, what is wrong with you? See, it shows me at the top, but they go away. So, like, if people do big GIFs on the screen, I can't tell. I don't like this at all. Oh, all right. Sorry, guys. We were trying to do this with TikTok to see how it would work, and I'm now already convinced that TikTok is not going to work. This is too hard. Yeah, it's not showing me the hearts at all. And the gift, it gives me a quick little line at the top, but I can't see the gift on the screen. See, what I wanted to do is, because we got Max Miller coming this week, I wanted to try to stream simultaneously to a bunch of different services, but this is just too hard. I'm not, thanks for the rose. I do see roses and things, but the big gifts I'm not going to see. All right. Well, I think I may just go to TikTok with my usual iPad. Yeah, but let's go to TikTok with my usual iPad, guys. Good try, TikTok, but I don't think this is going to work. Yeah. Yeah, it's too hard for me to, and I mean, looking at yet another comment screen, it's just too hard, I think, across the board. I'm very annoyed here. Yeah, TikTok just does not make this easy. All right, I'm going to hang up on TikTok and then launch it again on my iPad, which is the normal way we do this, which is bumming me out. Sorry, guys. We were trying to sort of figure this out. I was trying to figure out if I could launch TikTok with all my other services here simultaneously via my computer and stream, and it works, but it's too weird. Like the gifts, it only gives me a quick little thing at the top of the screen that says you gave a gift, and that's it. Well, okay, I've got it. Actually, that's not true. I've got it in the no, actually, yeah. It's fine on your end. It's not fine on my end. So on your end, it's fine. On my end, it's not as you know, well, no, you guys would typically see like a gift that pops up on the screen, you would see on the screen. Yeah. I don't know, Ash. You know what? We can talk about this afterwards, Ash. I don't like it right now. You know? Especially the comments. I mean, the gifts, because I just get a quick notice at the top of my screen about the gifts. I don't actually see the gifts. Thank you, Russell. Now, what's interesting is some of the gifts, it does show me in the comments that you guys gave the gifts, which is interesting. Interesting. It flashes over your comments. Hey, if you got questions as to why, you feel free to ask TikTok why it's not on the whole screen. Feel free to ask TikTok why not. All right. Well, the nice thing is you can see the YouTube comments this way, but no, I don't like this, guys. I think it's too hard. As I said, I can't really see because what I want, here's the thing. When I have guests, I'm going to have to start this again. When I have guests, I wanted to be able to stream at one place so everybody can see the guest on YouTube and TikTok and everything else. But it's making it very difficult. It's just making it difficult. Yeah. I'm just not liking it. Because the problem, too, is the only gifts I see are a quick little notice at the top of the screen, so I can't tell when people send the nicer gifts. Because normally I can tell the nicer gifts when they come up so I can stop and thank you guys, right? I can't tell that anymore. Maybe I do it this way because honestly, we tend not to get a lot of gifts when we have guests anyway. It's kind of a funny thing. When I have guests, it doesn't. I'm using Live Center because Studio is too hard for me to figure out. I tried Studio; it's way too hard. But yeah, but for a guest, we don't typically get gifts when we have guests anyway. Hey, seriously. She's already begun. She knows I'm doing the show, so she's already begun with her. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm gonna stop wasting. You know, now we are getting the viewers, even though I'm not talking about Iran yet. Sorry, guys, we're having a little tech issue we're discussing here, and then we're gonna start. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Scared the crap out of you. Sorry, Evie. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? All right. I'm going to end TikTok at the moment. I'm going to go back to TikTok on my iPad because it's easier. So I'm going to come back in about 30 seconds. I'm going to relaunch this. Keep an eye out, guys. And I'm going to relaunch this in like 30 seconds at the most, all right? All right. Be right back. Yeah, I was hating that. Absolutely, positively hating that. Really, really, really hated that. TikTok. All right, remove. Now let me just start TikTok here then. All right. Yeah, that's annoying. I know my hair is curlier today. It does that. It does that. Hang on. All right. TikTok, we're about to go live. Yeah, I'm just not sure if I like that, the TikTok thing. You know, I wanted to like it. It's just kind of, it's also on my end, the number of things on my screen. Oh my God, that was annoying. All right, here we go on TikTok. I hate having a guest that I can't multi-stream him, but I think it's going to just be too hard. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, Discord's working for what it is. This is true. All right, I'm back. Hello, guys. Hello, Danny. All right, we're back to, now we're going to have to wait for the TikTok audience to come back. Everybody came to watch Iran, and I turned it off. Sorry, guys. Ooh la 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 la. Oh, thank you, Cindy. See, now I can see. I can't see the gifts over there. Now, thank you, Cindy. Over there, it gives me a quick little thing, and then I go, I don't know. Anyway. Oh, well, what do you do, guys? Anyway, hello, TikTokers. I'm back. YouTube, sorry. Anybody watching on YouTube is going to be annoyed. Thank God Mustard isn't here today. He would get pissed off. It's taking too long. So, that was TikTok Live Center, not Studio, I believe. TikTok Studio is too hard for me to use. I tried. I couldn't figure it out. TikTok has something they set up that's like Streamlabs. It's just too hard. I couldn't make 2 cents of it. Although Streamlabs I find very hard too. The problem is we get most of the viewers on TikTok, so I can't start it somewhere else. I've got to do because we got Max Miller coming, which I'm going to tell him just to come on TikTok this week. I hate the idea of the rest of you only getting audio, but I don't know what else to do. Because I would like to have Max on YouTube as well, but I don't think we just can't do it. Anyway, what do you do? Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, welcome, guys. I tried. I'm a little annoyed because I wanted this to work, but it wasn't working. John Aravosis here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm not going to explain this anymore. There's no other way to beam guests than on TikTok. It's the only way it works. So, all right. Welcome, guys. So we have a ton of news today. Iran news mostly, some Ukraine, some Russia. Ton of Iran news today. I don't know that any of it's good. I don't think any of it's good. It's all bad. So sorry in advance. It's not good stuff today. Anyway, hey, Unsweetened. So we can see. So let's just dig in. Anyway, remember, guys, if you can, I appreciate the gifts. The gifts help support my work, so I very much appreciate them. Do keep the gifts coming. I do try to do a shout out for the larger gifts, only because I can't shout out every gift, but what do you do? Trump is a cornered rat, Mark says. All right, so Reuters says today that the number of U.S. troops wounded has now exceeded 200. 10 have been seriously wounded. They were wounded in 7 different countries: Bahrain, Iraq, Israel, Jordan, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. So, not good news there. Trump, actually, I'm glad, good, we got a decent audience now on TikTok because this first story is insane. Thank you, Gene. Absolutely insane. Guys, we're entering, this war is not going well. This war is not going well at all. We all kind of got the picture of, and I was worried about this when it was happening, right? Oh, lots of things are blowing up. It must be going well, right? As Trump said, most Hegseth. Oh my God, we're dropping more things than any previous war. Oh my God. And I said, that doesn't mean you're winning. That doesn't mean you're accomplishing your goals just because you're doing more things going boom, right? Many things happened today that show the war isn't going well. We're going to talk in a second about the fact that Trump is now screaming, trying to get the allies to send forces because things aren't going well. If things were going well, Trump would not be in a panic to get the Europeans to invade, and that's what he's doing. This other comment is, I'm about to literally kick my dog. I will not kick my dog, but metaphorically, I'm going to kick my dog. She's in her bed. She's in her bed. I see you. I know. She's in her bed, but she's still whining because she wants me to give her food early. She's in her bed 6 feet away, and she's lying in her bed going, it's all right, listen to this from Trump. This is horrific. This just happened. Actually, hold on. I think I've got some of this. Oh, I didn't sync the iPad, though. I don't know if I've got it on my iPad. Otherwise, I'm going to read it to you, but I meant to. It's funny. I made sure I had it on my phone, but I keep forgetting I use my phone as my camera with you guys. So it doesn't really help when I've got all of these things saved on my phone. Hey! That would be my dog who will not quit. Hold on. This may be.
Power. Look what happened in the last 2 weeks. They weren't supposed to go after all these other countries in the Middle East. Those missiles were set to go after them. So they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. we were shocked, and power.
Listen to this again.
Look
Listen to
what
this again.
happened. In the last 2 weeks, they weren't supposed to go after all these other countries in the Middle East. Those missiles were set to go after them. So they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked, and power.
Okay, that is one of the most egregious lies I have ever heard him tell. We're at war. He is lying about the underlying basis of the war now. Guys, thank you, Infinity. If he's telling the truth, he needs to resign right now, and all of his top military leadership needs to resign right now if he's telling the truth. And the media should go nuts on this. Trump just claimed that he had no idea that Iran was going to attack its neighbors if we attacked Iran. If that's true, then it means his top general, Dan Kane, is an idiot. Dan Kane's an idiot, a blithering moron, if that's true what Trump just said. It means his Secretary of Defense is an idiot. It means all the top generals of the Pentagon are idiots if Donald Trump just told the truth. Because I've been working on this stuff for 40 years. I studied this stuff in graduate school. From graduate school on, everybody knew, 40 years ago, everybody knew that if we attack Iran, the first thing that they are at risk of doing is attacking all of their neighbors in the Middle East. Guaranteed positive. Now, is there a 100% chance they do it? No. 95% maybe, right? But you absolutely worry that the first thing Iran's going to do is attack its neighbors. For Trump to say today that and I'm going to read you. There's no, because there's also Fox News of all things picked up on this quote from Trump and quoted it back to get more from him. Fox News, which I'm shocked. Listen to this. So Trump says in the last 2 weeks, Iran, they weren't supposed to go after all these other countries in the Middle East. So they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked. Steve Doocy, I think it's Steve, Peter, whatever, Doocy, Fox News. You said they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked. Are you surprised that nobody briefed you ahead of time that might be their retaliation? Trump, nobody, no. The greatest experts, nobody thought they were going to be hit. Trump claims the senior generals at the Pentagon did not think Iran, the CIA did not think Iran was going to hit its neighbors if we attacked Iran with the goal of killing all the leadership and overthrowing the country. I hope, I never know, like, because I do know a lot about foreign policy. I mean, I studied it and I've worked in it. So I never know sometimes whether this stuff is as obvious to you guys as it is to me, or whether some of you say, yeah, that makes sense what Trump is saying. This is so bad what he just said. Literally a child would know, practically a child would know that Iran would probably hit its neighbors. This is something that's been talked about for decades, for like 50 years of Iran existing as its current theocratic state. We were worried about Iran attacking the Saudi oil fields. For 50 years, that we were worried about that being the response of an attack on Iran. And the notion of us attacking Iran to decapitate its government, to overthrow its government, to kill its senior leadership, and literally overthrow the country, the notion that Iran wouldn't respond to that by attacking the oil fields in the region? I mean, here's what worries me. Trump's lying. He's lying, okay? We know he's lying. He was briefed. They said, Mr. President, there's a real chance that Iran is going to go after its neighbors. Guaranteed, thank you, Kerry, very nice gift, right? Thank you, very, right? I mean, it's very, we know he was told. What worries me now, it was a very cool gift, thank you again. What worries me now is that he's making excuses for the current situation with the war. No one knew, no one told me. That means things are fucked up, right? You don't make excuses. Think about it, right? Mom, it wasn't my fault. That's because something went wrong, right? You don't say, Mom, it wasn't my fault when you did something when you got an A in school, right? You don't say it wasn't my fault when you built something really cool in the backyard. You say it wasn't my fault when you broke something in the backyard. He's saying, Mom, it wasn't my fault, right? I had no idea. No one told me they were going to attack the neighbors. He's talking about oil and gas prices. He's talking about oil and gas going through the roof because the Strait of Hormuz being attacked and everything else, which means we're fucked. I'm not going to keep using that word because TikTok may not like it, but we're effed. Things are not going well right now with this war. Well, we've destroyed Iran. I mean, that's true, right? But things are not going well, that Trump is making egregious lies to try to excuse himself. And honestly, people really should. Thank you, Oklahoma. People really should go to the media, should go to the generals and say, yeah, General Kane. So it's true that you didn't think, Donald Trump just said that you didn't think Iran was going to attack its neighbors. You actually, seriously? Like, what planet did you go? Like, where have you been sitting drunk the last 40 years that you've been in the military, making your way to chairman of the Joint Chiefs? Is that what was happening? Were you just going to brothels and getting drunk? Like, what were you doing the last 40 years? Because Trump says that you, General Kane, didn't tell him. Thank you, Cornelius, by the way, that you didn't tell him that this is what was going on. I mean, man. No, this is, as I said, what is really dangerous about this is Trump is now making excuses. I'm going to read this quote one more time. In the last 2 weeks, Iran wasn't supposed to go after all these other countries in the Middle East, so they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked. And Fox News asks him and says, are you surprised that nobody briefed you ahead of time that there might be retaliation? That might be their retaliation? Trump, nobody, no. The greatest experts, nobody thought they were going to hit. I mean, our gas, Celine, is going through the roof, right? Inflation's about to hit the rest of the economy because gas is going to reverberate everywhere, right? By the way, one of the things I was reading this weekend, thank you, Jackie, one of the big things we're worried about now is food. Because guess what food works with? Fertilizer. Guess fertilizer is made from, among other things, petroleum products. Somehow it's involved in fertilizer production. I don't think I really knew that, but it's fertilizer. It's going to affect fertilizer badly. It's also going to affect every single other product out there. God damn it, I heard the number this morning, I'm forgetting. Basically like 70, thank you, I crashed. 70%, I believe, of products in America are transported by truckers. They use fuel. I don't know if they use diesel fuel, but they use fuel, right? I mean, every product you get, almost every product you receive, if not every product, is coming to you courtesy of fossil fuel transportation. I very much doubt that there's anything you're getting that does not have components that were sent on trains and ships and planes that use fossil fuels to run. And those fossil fuels are going through the roof right now. Man. No, I mean, that quote just happened from Trump claiming that. We had no idea they were going to hit the neighbors. They were going to hit all the Gulf neighbors if we attacked them. No idea. No one told me. And again, I'm going to finish this just because on TikTok and some of the other services, YouTube, TikTok especially, people kind of come and leave. It's almost like a radio show. So they may not know what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that Trump just claimed that he had no idea. No one told him that if we attacked Iran and tried to overthrow the government, they would attack the other neighbors in the area. And even my dog knows that. We all knew that for 40 years. I studied this stuff in graduate school almost 40 years ago. I'm that old, sadly. Actually, it was 40 years ago. It was 40 years ago. I am that old now. That was the first thing anybody thought of, was Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz and Hey! Stop, please. All right? Stop. Was Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz and attacking its Arab neighbors and their oil fields. Man. So, with that in mind, by the way, Trump's threat against NATO makes more sense. Trump threatened to leave NATO today. Basically threatened that there was no point in the U.S. being in NATO if our NATO allies don't immediately get involved in the war and send troops. Yeah. Thank you, Anna. I mean, couple things here. I'm going to read you in a second what our NATO allies apparently said in response to that. Trump previously said the war was over. Remember a couple days ago? We won. He declared victory. We won. 100%. He said 100% of Iran's military was destroyed. Destroyed, he said, right? And we were all going, 100% was destroyed? Really? Really? Then why aren't we coming home if 100% was destroyed, right? He lied. Remember the Brits last week tried to send a ship to the Middle East? And Trump said, send the ship home. You're too late. We already won. I don't need you. He literally told the Brits to send their ship home because we don't need you. We already won. Today, he tried to beg the Brits and the rest of the Europeans and Canadians to come and send troops to the war effort. That is not a message you send when you're winning. That is a message you send when you're losing. And again, why did he say we won several days ago? Why did he send the British troops home and the boat home? We don't need the British boats only 5 days ago. And now we find out he's desperate to get British boats and European boats and NATO boats. Now, the response from Europe has been interesting. UK, no. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said on Monday he would not be drawn into the wider Iran war, while reiterating he was working with allies to reopen the strait. Germany, no. Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said that Germany would not participate with its military in securing the strait. Quote, what does Trump expect from a handful of European frigates that the powerful U.S. Navy cannot do? This is not our war. We have not started it, said the German defense minister. Denmark said maybe. Denmark's considering sending, a helicopter, I think. Thank you, Gene. Italy said no. We're not sending troops or material. Greece said no. Japan, no current plans to send a ship. Australia, we won't be sending a ship. And South Korea said, we will make a decision after a careful review. To me, that sounded like a polite Asian way of saying, no, we're not helping you. That's it. I mean, that's not it for the news. We got a lot of news. I mean, the thing is, we have been very effective at blowing things up. But what's worried me from the beginning is they focus so much on blowing things, like the number of things we've blown up. And I kept saying, right, but are we winning, right? Winning has got to be defined some other way than just how many things we blew up. And now that Iran has threatened the oil, now that Iran has basically shut down the oil coming out of the region, which, by the way, even though the U.S. gets, and Trump said this today too, Trump said, we only get like 1 or 2% of our oil from the region. So we don't care. He actually said, and I told Callum, I lost the quote. I saw it earlier today and went, what? Trump said earlier today, you could argue we shouldn't even be here because we only get 1 or 2% of our oil from here. He said, literally goes, you could argue we shouldn't even be here. And you're going, wait. You went to war against another country. You declared war against another, I mean, he did, personally declared war against another country, and you're admitting now today that maybe we shouldn't even have been here to start with because it's not in our national interest? It doesn't matter? No, he's lying. It does matter. I mean, the Middle East matters. But do you get, guys, if he knew why we were here, he would know. We're in the 3rd week of the war. It's been 2 weeks now. We're beginning the 3rd week. He still doesn't know why the hell we're in this war, right? He said today that you could argue that we shouldn't even be in this war because we only get 1 or 2% of our oil from the region. So why are we here? Couple things, which we've learned, sadly. I mean, some of us knew this because some of us got our briefing 40 years ago. Donald Trump didn't. When the price of oil goes up anywhere, it goes up everywhere. The price of oil is the price of oil. It doesn't it's not like it goes up in the Middle East and then like in America, it stays cheap. It goes up everywhere. There can be a slight price difference, right? The British oil, the Brent oil seems to be a couple dollars ahead of the Texas oil, but it's like $93 versus $99. It's in the same ballpark, right? When oil prices jump in the Middle East like they did after Trump invaded, they make oil prices worldwide jump. It doesn't matter whether or not it's oil that's drilled in America. That's why it's so expensive. That's why it's so expensive. And oil is traded internationally. That's what affects the price. It's traded, it's a commodity. It's traded like a stock or something, so to speak. The price goes up and down every minute of every day. Not every day, but you get my point, in the same way stocks do. Little more here. Now, Trump threatened to pull out of NATO if our NATO allies don't go to war, basically, with Iran. Interesting question there as to who cares. What I mean by that is, one, can Trump pull out of NATO? Maybe not, because Congress passed a law intended to stop Trump. Ironically, Marco Rubio was one of the two people who was behind the law. Marco Rubio, who's the Secretary of State right now. But Rubio, and I forget the other Democrat, basically wanted to stop Trump from unilaterally pulling out of NATO. So they passed a law that said in order to pull out of any treaty, or like NATO, you would need the support of like 2/3 of Congress or something like that. Well, here's the problem. Trump doesn't care. Trump will just pull out anyway, right? That's the first thing. He'll just pull out. Then what happens? The Congress goes to court to sue him. And then you've got the problem of, does the judge feel that the court has jurisdiction, right? Does the court have jurisdiction? I mean, not the court. Does not jurisdiction. Well, does Congress have standing, right? Would be the first question. Hey, enough out of you. Sorry, I have like the dog from hell here. Jesus Christ. My dog is old and cannot hear. But she sits here and whines all day. Not all day. She sits here and whines all night because she gets a treat later. She gets fed later. And I have hours of my dog, and you can't hear it. The last 5 minutes I've been talking to you, it has been nonstop in my ear, and it's making me insane. But the best part is she's lying in bed now with her head down because she's tired, but she's still whining. So when I looked to see what she was doing, she's laying in bed going, eh. And the best part is once she gets her evening meal later, she's fine. So like, she's not in pain. I thought she was in pain. She's not in pain. She just is being, oh my God. Anyway, mamma mia. It's just like, I just can't even. I just can't even with this dog. You can't see her. So the fact that she's laying in bed is a good thing. We're leaving her be. Oh my God. All right. So yes, so Trump leaves NATO. Congress sues him. The court says, Congress, you don't have standing. You're not a party to this. That's the first problem. Second problem, Congress sues Trump, and the court says, this is a political matter. You need to settle it between yourselves. That's entirely possible that they say that. They just say, Congress, you and Trump need to figure this out legislatively. Third problem, let's pretend the court says, Trump, you cannot leave NATO. And Trump says, okay, I won't leave NATO. How does that change anything? What's the purpose of NATO? The purpose of NATO is to convince people like the Russians not to invade, because every NATO country will come to the aid of any other NATO country that's attacked. All Trump has to say is, okay, I'll stay in NATO. I'm not going to come to your aid when we're attacked, but I'll stay in NATO so you can keep my name on your letterhead, right? But when you're attacked, I'm not coming. That's all Trump has to say. And legally, he's a member of NATO. Because NATO, the way the NATO charter works, you don't automatically go to war when other countries go to war. NATO has to get together and decide, and it's got to be unanimous. And if NATO decides, oh my God, it's time for us to invoke Article 5 and defend each other, each country gets to I forget the exact phrasing. Each country gets to offer the level of support it deems appropriate. So NATO can be attacked, and NATO countries don't even need to come to its defense, right? So in the end, Trump could leave NATO anyway by staying in NATO and simply saying, we're not going to war for any of you guys. And which honestly is kind of what he's already done, right? This has been the concern with Trump from the beginning, was that Trump basically was never going to come to support you guys in Europe, right? Right. So anyway, that's the problem with the NATO stuff. More news. Trump is threatening China. Oh, so he's also threatening China today. China gets most of its oil from the Gulf, the Persian Gulf, from Strait of Hormuz. Thank you, Just Max. And they need to send troops and boats now to open the Strait of Hormuz, he said. And all the China experts were going, here's the thing. Generally speaking, Hey, enough already. Stop, please. I love you, but dear God, you are a loudmouth witch. You know that? Oh my God. I'm petting her while we're talking, by the way. Oh my God, you drive me crazy. My hearing is not bad. Yours is. I hear every little whine out of you. Oh. Please, thank you. She's laying down now. Maybe that'll get. I pet her a bit. Oh. Oh my God. I love her, but God, she's a pain in the ass. Oh God. See, unless you have a dog that does this kind of crap, you will never appreciate what it's. She's a Yorkie Bichon. She's lovely, but she's a pain in the ass. You will never appreciate how bad it is. Thank you, Cindy. Unless you've got one, because literally, I'm sitting like now. She's quiet right now, but I'm literally talking to you guys, and I'm hearing. It's like the little kid poking you, going now. Oh God. Actually, I'm remembering all those trips we took as family together in the car and how my dad would go crazy. I get it now. Like the kids just not stopping when you're trying to do a show. Oh my God. So China. Yes. Trump says, China gets most of its oil through the Middle East. They should be here. We shouldn't even be doing this. With China should come open the Strait of Hormuz. Here's the problem. Generally speaking, the U.S. does not want China coming to the Middle East. China, I should say, the Middle East is the U.S.'s back. I'm going to call it a backyard, even though it's not really our backyard, like Latin America's our backyard, but it kind of is. It's kind of Russia's backyard too. Russia and the U.S. are the two big players who mess around. Playground, I mean, any word kind of makes it sound bad, but you guys get my point. Russia and the U.S. are the two world powers who muck around in the Middle East. China does not. We don't want Russia there, but Russia's there. Now, Russia's hanging on by a thread because Russia had Iran, Syria, Hezbollah, Hamas. Israel destroyed Hamas. Israel destroyed Hezbollah. Russia has Syria, and now they don't because the Syrian, remember, Assad got overthrown. Now he's hiding in Moscow. And Iran, Russia had, but Iran's pretty weak right now. So Russia doesn't have much left in the Middle East at this point. Thank you, Max. That gets you a wig. That gets you the Trump wig. So Russia doesn't have a lot left. China, on the other hand, has nothing in the Middle East. Sorry, for certain gifts on TikTok, we put on the Trump wig. That's why I just put this on in the middle of talking. So China has nothing. China isn't in the Middle East, really. They certainly don't have like a big military presence. We don't want the Chinese there. We don't want the Chinese having their military running all over the Middle East. No, right? Like this is you want your military to be kind of in control of an area, not somebody else's. So for Trump to say, yeah, we want China there, I guarantee you the generals in the Pentagon are going, no, we don't want China there. Like we really, really, really don't want China there. Trump said, what was the other? Hang on, I'm trying to hear. Oh, so Kharg Island. So much news has happened in the last couple of days. So Saturday night. I know the wig does have a mind of its own. Saturday night, Trump attacks. Thank you again. Trump attacks Kharg Island. This was fascinating. Now I'll grab my map again to show you guys because I do think it's important. Actually, I grabbed a screenshot of the map, which I probably can show you, because it's important to appreciate. Here we go. So you've got Iran, right? Iran's up here. This is the Persian Gulf, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Turkey's over here, Europe's over here, right? Russia, Ukraine up north. So you've got Iran here, southern coast of Iran. This is the Strait of Hormuz. This is that little tight area that's pretty much closed down that the Iranians keep bombing all over. But this is the really bad area because they've got to go through this 10-mile stretch between Iran and like UAE or whatever that is. Yeah, UAE, or it might be Oman even right there. And they can't get through there. So oil from all of these countries, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, everybody, were coming here through the straits and they got shut off. That's what's causing all the problem. Now, Kharg Island is the little red spot up here, right south of Iran. It is Iran, Kharg Island right there. And it's this little thing here off of Kuwait. A huge portion, like 90% of Iran's oil exports go through Kharg Island. So Trump decides to blow it up on Saturday. And it is Oman. I was going to say it looked like it was Oman, yeah. Look at you experts on the geography. I mean, I know where Oman is, but I know it could be like one or the other. So Trump decides Saturday night, I think it was, he's going to blow up Kharg Island, Iran's big export facility. Now, mind you, 90% of Iran's oil goes through there. Well, he announces it and says, but I didn't attack any of their oil infrastructure. I attacked Kharg Island and only blew up their military facilities on Kharg Island. Okay? And he says, that's because their military was used to attack the neighbors, whatever. And you're like, okay, fair enough. But I didn't attack the oil, but unless they open the Strait of Hormuz, I'm going to go after their oil. And I heard this and went, bullshit. You're bluffing. The thing is, Iran knows he's bluffing. Here's why. A couple things. One, what do you think Iran's first... Okay, you're Iran, right? You've got pretty things. I'm your neighbor. I'm in a war with you. And you've got pretty things in your yard. And I say, Iran, neighbor, I'm going to come and break your very expensive statues in your yard. I'm going to break them. I've got very expensive statues in my yard too. And my friends do. My friends who live all around you, who are helping me, they have pretty statues too. I say, I'm going to destroy all of your pretty statues, Iran, you people out there. What's your response going to be? You're going to go, well, you've got the same pretty statues in your yard. I'm going to break your statue too. This would be the stuff that Trump claims the military and his advisors didn't tell him. That, like, if we go after Iran's oil, it's literally the thing. Mia said the glass houses. It's literally the glass house story. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Like, if we go after Iran's oil, they're going to go after our oil. Our oil is Saudi Arabia and all of its neighbors. Natural gas too. A lot. They Oman. All of them export a lot of oil energy across the board. If we go after Iran's energy, they're going to go after Saudi Arabia's and the region's oil infrastructure and energy infrastructure across the board and blow it up. They're already doing some of it. Like today might have been another attack on Oman, I think, on some of their facilities, but they're not doing it nearly as much as they could. They will. If we try to shut down Iran's oil exports, they're going to shut down Saudi Arabia's oil exports. And oh boy, that's going to be fun for the world when that happens. That's why the other night Trump, when he attacked Kharg Island, didn't go after the oil. That's why remember a week ago, those you guys who watch my show every night will remember we talked about this. Remember a week ago, I think it was last weekend, but last weekend meaning 8 days ago, there were that amazing video from Tehran of that fire. Like people were driving on kind of a highway, taking a turn, and there was this crazy fire that looked like it was AI. It was a real fire. It looked fake. That was one of the oil storage facilities right outside of Tehran. The Israelis had attacked something like 30 oil storage facilities across Iran, and the Americans were livid. The Americans were pissed, meaning Trump's people. And they told them, stop it, because they were worried about Iran hitting everybody else in the region. So when Trump makes this threat and says, I'm going to hit your oil facilities unless you open up the straits, Iran knows damn well Trump isn't going to do it because they know he knows they're going to attack Saudi Arabia's oil and everything else, and then the prices go through the roof. So, all right, more. So that's the Kharg Island. Axios reports the war could go on till September. Trump and other officials have said it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks, which gets us to around April 1st, April Fool's Day. But a number of officials that Axios spoke to said basically they think the war goes on to September. It could even be low level, like a lower level war, but that it's not going away. That means energy prices aren't getting better anytime soon. The other point I wanted to make was, here we go, was what if Iran says no? What if Trump tomorrow says, okay, we won, war over, we're going home. And Iran says, bye, we're not freeing the oil. We're going to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed, right? We're just going to keep it closed. Then what happens? Then oil continues to keep rising and going through the roof. And I should have said, the reason Iran says this is because Iran says, look, you're just going to come back and blow me up again like you did last time, right? You blew me up last year. You came back again now. Until you stop blowing me up and I have solid international assurances, I'm not letting the oil go. And you can go F yourself, right? What was the from the movie, from the Iran Revolution? Remember, go F your, whatever the expression was. The name of the movie, I'm forgetting it now. You guys know what I mean. The Ben Affleck one, from the hostages getting released. But all Iran has to say is, no, we want international assurances that the U.S. and Israel are never attacking us again. And until we get those assurances, we are not going to free the oil. The oil is going, go fuck yourselves, exactly. That we're not going to let the oil go. And then what happens? The U.S. has to come back. And the U.S. has to attack Iran again. Now, that's another question is, there's a lot of different military options here. Why doesn't the U.S. open the straits? Well, how would we do it? We would have to do it by, like, escorting tankers. And basically, we would have to put ourselves out in the open for the Iranians to attack us. And the Iranians would attack us, and they might really damage our ships and kill and injure a lot of U.S. soldiers. The other option is taking Kharg Island, which Trump may still do. Right? They were saying, oh, what if the U.S. takes Kharg Island? Well, you could, because remember, we're sending 5,000 Marines, or between 2,500 and 5,000. Initially, we heard 5,000. Now I heard it might be 2,500. We send the Marines. What if the Marines take Iran's little island? Well, let me show you the picture again. If the Marines take Kharg Island, or frankly, we try to keep the strait clear, right? Look at how small this area. This area is like 20 miles. This little, from Iran to the area, is like 20 miles. This is not a big area here, guys. This is 20 miles. Or Kharg Island's even fewer. Kharg Island's like a couple miles from Iran. We put a bunch of Marines on this little island and take it from the Iranians, and the Iranians line up here, and they blow the crap out of the Marines and kill them. So then what do? Well, then we decide to bomb and invade here to secure this area so they can't attack Kharg Island. So we put a bunch of Marines, a couple thousand Marines, along the coast here. And that stops Iran from using this area to attack the island. But now what does Iran do? Now Iran says, oh, then we'll use all of our troops here to attack your Marines here. So now we've got to move into this area and take this area. But what happens then? Then Iran says, oh, we're going to attack you from here. They've got a whole country to attack us from if we take Kharg Island or we sit here and try to take the straits. Very, very, very dangerous stuff. Hey, relax, please. Very dangerous stuff. That's what the experts are saying. That is why, I mean, I follow a ton of defense folks. I'm a foreign policy guy, but I follow a ton of defense folks. That's what the defense folks are saying. There's a very good reason we have not tried to open the Strait of Hormuz because it is believed it would be very costly militarily for us, and the Iranians would keep taking shots at us again and again and again. We wouldn't be able to secure the area, basically. Securing it meaning, like, imagine the cops coming through your house and making sure that your apartment's safe, nobody's in your home. Oh, there's no burglar here. They go room to room. You can't do that in the area because Iran's there. They're just going to keep firing and firing and firing at you. Bad news. What else we got? Oh, I've got so much news to tell you. Some senior Trump officials are starting to doubt the wisdom of the war, says Axios. A source close to the administration said some key officials around Trump were reluctant or wanted more time before the war started. Quote, he ended up saying, I just want to do it, the source said. He grossly overestimated his ability to topple the regime short of sending in ground troops. The source said Trump was high on his own supply after last summer's quick strikes in Iran and January's abduction of Venezuelan President Maduro. Quote, he saw multiple decisive victories with extraordinary military competence. I think that's the real issue. Trump thought we were going to invade, he was going to bomb, and they were going to overthrow the regime. The people would or somebody would, right? That it was going to end in a week or two, and that was it, right? And I'm sure they told him, Mr. President, again, I told you guys, and I'm not the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, I'm not the head of the CIA, and I told you guys, the conventional wisdom is air power is not enough to overthrow a government. You can't just bomb them into submission. It doesn't work. Israel informed the U.S. this week reportedly that it is critically low on ballistic missile interceptors. Trump's AI crypto advisor, this was interesting. David Sachs, who those of us who follow Ukraine know who he is. David Sachs is a pain in the ass. Whines a lot about Russia and Ukraine and, oh my God, World War III and this kind of crap. David just doesn't stop. So he was always wanted us to cave to Russia and give Russia what it wants in Ukraine because there could be a nuclear war. Well, Trump hires him to be his top AI czar and top crypto czar. And what does David do? David Sachs is a pain in the ass. He's an Elon Musk buddy, MAGA, right-wing, blah, blah, blah. David Sachs this weekend goes on a podcast. Mind you, he's a senior Trump official, guys. Right? I mean, he's got his regular job, but he's a senior Trump official. And he goes on a podcast and says, we need to find a way out now. We need to find an off-ramp now because Israel is going to use a nuke and the whole world's going to blow up and we're going to have a nuclear war. And I'm reading this going, he's a senior Trump official. He's a senior Trump official. And he's doing a podcast saying, A, we've got to end the war now, which Trump does not want to hear that. And B, Israel's going to start a nuclear war, which is why we have to end the war now. I cannot tell you enough how inappropriate it is for this guy to be doing a podcast at all. He's the crypto guy. He's the AI guy. He shouldn't be giving opinions on Iran. And if you work for the administration and you're giving opinions, you give opinions in line with the administration. That's just the way it is. You don't go public and say, this war the boss is fighting, he needs to stop now. I mean, sure, you and I feel that way, right? But we're not a senior Trump White House official. It does. What Colin just said, the ship is sinking. That's the kind of comments you make when the ship might be sinking. Yes, yes. CNN's Fareed Zakaria reports. This is interesting. Zelensky, right, president of Ukraine, Zelensky says Russia gave Iran Shahed drones that were made in Russia, and these drones were used to attack U.S. troops. They may have used Russian drones for some of the drones that killed our troops and injured our troops, that Russia provided them. Oh, but it gets better. Quote, I have 100% facts, this is Zelensky, I have 100% facts that the Iranian regime used them against American bases in the Middle East. Ukrainian intelligence also believes Russia shared information with the Iranian regime for targeting U.S. troops. Now, we know already that Russia was helping the Iranians target. Nobody said specifically until the Ukrainians did that that Russia was providing information to try to kill U.S. troops. Yeah. Trump gets asked, I've got some videos of this actually. Hang on a second. I want to pull this up. Let me pull this up. One moment here. Always better to make this stuff real. Favorites. Here we go. Well, these are a couple different ones. I will play you.
See what happens. Sir. See what happens.
Can you explain why we're sending 5,000 Marines and sailors? Can you explain why
You're a very obnoxious person. Go ahead. What were you going to say? See what happens.
Can you explain why you're sending 5,000 Marines?
5,000 Marines and sailors. Can you explain why
You're a very obnoxious person. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Can you explain why you're sending 5,000 Marines or sailors to the Middle East? You're a very obnoxious person. She's a woman, of course. Of course. Hold on.
Is being criticized for using official White House photos of you as a dignified transfer?
He's being asked about the fact that his PAC used images of the coffin of our dead U.S. service member killed in the fighting, that they used his coffin, Trump did, in a fundraising email. He had a picture of Trump saluting the coffin, and you can see the coffin. Used one of our dead troops in a fundraising email, so he gets asked by a reporter about it.
Is being criticized for using official White House photos of you as a dignified transfer, and the PAC is also promising access to secret.
Well, I was at the
briefings.
dignified transfer, unlike a
Do
lot
you
of
think
other
it's an
people.
appropriate email to send? Your critics
Yeah,
are
I do.
saying that you're
Yeah, I do.
fundraising
I
also-
didn't see it. I mean, somebody.
Then he goes, I didn't see it, but yeah, I do. Do you think it was appropriate to send? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. An email with a picture of a coffin of a U.S. soldier. Trump was fundraising off of literally the coffin of a U.S. soldier killed in this fighting. And he thinks it's totally appropriate, he just told the news. Another one. Oh, this was great too. Here's our Secretary of the Energy talking about energy prices. So you know how we're all worried about energy prices? They're not. And Trump has said this too. They've all said this repeatedly.
Fortunately, the United States, we produce more oil than we consume. We're a net oil exporter. So overall for the U.S. economy, this isn't bad news. But of course, who President Trump is worried about is not overall. He's worried about every single American consumer. And so, yes, of course, he's concerned about the rising energy prices through this short-term period that...
Do you think Trump's worried about the American consumer right after he said, hey, overall, this is pretty good. The prices are going up. It helps us a lot. He means it helps the people who gave them money. It helps the oil industry. And Trump has said this before. We talked about this a few days ago. Trump has said, no, this is really good for us. This is really good for us. Hey, Dan, my opinion on the claims in podcast, what is that? I don't know what that means. Podcast bomb? I don't know what that means. You don't have to buy another question, but write more as to what you mean. I don't know what that question means. Write me. Thank you for that, by the way. But write me more without paying for it, and I'll answer you. Couple more things here. The U.S. is dropping disinformation on the. Oh, okay. Sorry, Dan was asking about the claim that Israel's going to use a nuclear bomb. No, they're not. They're not. There's no way they'd use a nuclear bomb. The repercussions would be too grave. First of all, unless like Iran were to drop something similar on Israel, maybe, right? Or Israel was literally in danger of getting wiped off the map. Then maybe Israel uses the same reason we would use them, right? Like you're in danger of literally, hey, you, can we handle this today, please? That Israel's in danger of getting wiped off the map. Okay. Israel's not going to use nuclear weapons just because they want to take out the Iranian regime, because I think the world would crap itself. Israel is not suffering from international sanctions. They still do a lot of work. They still have business in Europe and everything else. There would be no business at all. Israel would be cut off by the entire world except the United States, and there would be a very strong movement by the United States to cut them off as well. I think it would be, unless it were something existential, meaning Israel's about to get wiped off. I don't. I think I'm pissed at Israel for dragging us into this war because they did. The Trump people admitted that. But I don't think so. And I should have said something, by the way. He's an idiot. The Trump senior advisor who made the comment is a blithering idiot. Thank you, Jen, for that. David Sachs is a moron. Those of us who work on Ukraine have had to deal with that idiot for 4 years. He's an Elon Musk friend and clone who spends his time going, oh my God, we're going to have a nuclear war in Russia. And we're going to have a nuclear war if we don't give in and give Ukraine to Russia. It'll be a nuclear war. All the time this guy says this kind of crap. So for him to be saying about Israel is consistent, but he's full of shit like he always is. So no. His name is David Sachs. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. As I said, ask any of the folks who cover Ukraine, and they will tell you, oh God, that idiot. Yeah, he's a typical Russian suck-up. Yeah. So the fact that he doesn't know about Israel is par for the course. This is not his area of expertise. They all think enough. They all think it's their expertise. U.S. gas prices are up to around $3.76 a gallon now. They were $2.90 a gallon before the war started. Oil dropped a little today. So oil did go down a bit. Oil went down to like 93 or so from 95, 98 this weekend. So that's a little bit better. Anyway, what else we got here? Trump's energy secretary said on Saturday that, we've got him. And, the disinformation. Oh my God, I was going to tell you. So the disinformation. So the Trump people are trying to put out, basically lies about what's going on with the Iranian leader. And remember, so first they claimed he was injured and he might have been disfigured. Remember that whole thing? He was injured, it might be disfigured, hard to say. And which sounded a little, I was questioning, but who knows? Maybe true. Then they said yesterday, and his father didn't want him to be the new Ayatollah. But his father, Khamenei, the guy who just died, was the supreme leader for decades at this point, since I think like 1989 or something like that. 86, 89, whatever. And when the first Ayatollah died, when Khomeini died. So there was Khomeini and this is Khamenei. This guy's gets bombed and his son takes over. And the information the U.S. put out this weekend was his father never liked him. His father never liked him. I don't remember who we've got over on Twitch to help you guys. We used to have mods that would hang out there, but I don't think I can. I'm going to try. Oh, I think I can probably go there. Hold on. Guys, let me deal with Twitch for a second here. I think I can. If Twitch makes this. No, Twitch is making this too hard. Oh, there it is. There it is. Well. Yeah. That's fine. He's going to time out for a bit. Okay, I'm back. Well, no, but somebody's on Twitch being annoying. He might not be a troll, but you know what? You get muted on TikTok usually because you're being rude. So sometimes it's a mistake. Usually it's because you're being rude. So stop complaining about it. Yeah, the video stopped because I left. I'm back now. So the video should start in a second. All right. Yeah. There you are, Amanda. I wasn't sure if you were the one that had access there. I muted the guy for 10 minutes. Now, he may be somebody that didn't deserve to be muted. I don't know, but it happens, you know. All right. J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance gave a wonderful answer today. J.D. Vance is, famously against foreign intervention until Donald Trump wanted to invade half the world, and then he was okay, right? Right? So J.D. Vance gets asked today and says, well, you were leaking to the press, your people were, that you were opposed to the war, because J.D. Vance is doing that now. His people are leaking, J.D. never wanted this. J.D. didn't like this, which frankly means J.D. thinks things are going. Another sign that things might not be going well with the war, right? So J.D.'s people leak this to multiple sources. J.D. gets asked about it today. Listen to what J.D. Vance says. He's an idiot to answer this question. He's a complete idiot to answer this question. Listen to this. Reporter, given your past skepticism of foreign intervention, are you completely on board with the war in Iran? Vance, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to drive a wedge between me and the president. Reporter, so there's no hesitation given your past statements? Vance, I think one big difference is we have a smart president, where in the past we had dumb presidents. Let's just be clear there. So J.D. Vance is okay with America being the world's policeman, with America invading any country and every country and getting involved in foreign military entanglements for decades, as long as we have a smart president. If we have a dumb president, he opposes it. But if there's a smart president, in other words, being a neocon is totally okay. If you're a smart president, I do not think this was the smartest thing for him to say. I do not think this was the smartest thing for him to say. He keeps, first of all, people are going to use all the different clips, right? The fact that he was opposed to the war, now he's for the war, but saying that basically he's for Trump intervening all over the world. I mean, well, they're all in the same boat. The problem is Marco Rubio's in the same boat. They're going to have to find somebody who wasn't part of the administration who can say that wasn't a very good idea, right? But yeah. Yes. Trump is now talking again today about possibly going after Cuba. God, there's so many stories today. The chairman of our Federal Communications Commission, which regulates the airwaves, some of the TV airwaves, some of this stuff, threatened today to take away the broadcast license of American media networks because Trump doesn't like their coverage. Trump didn't like their coverage, so Trump said, they're putting out fake news. They're intentionally spreading fake stories. So this guy said, I think you're putting out fake, mind you, any goofball who thinks the media puts out fake stories to hurt people really needs to grow up and join the real world. Trump's guy said he's going to take away their media licenses if they keep putting out fake stories that Trump doesn't like about how the war's going, right? Trump then accuses them of treason. He said it's actually treason. It's literally treason what the reporters are doing by reporting about problems with the war. It's literally not treason, and you literally cannot take away their broadcast licenses. What it literally is, though, is fascism. That it is. It's authoritarianism. It's what the bad guys did in Germany in World War II. It's what the Russians do today. It's what the Soviets did before them. It's what the communist Chinese do. It is literally the kind of government that those people run, is the kind of people that make the kind of comments like Donald Trump did and his FCC chair, Brendan Carr. It's literally un-American and anti-American, what they said. Trump reportedly, there's so much news, guys. Dime, 10 cents, the American 10-cent piece. Trump reportedly ordered them to remove something that's very famously, actually, like all of our dollar bills is like our currency as well. I mean, our paper currency. Very famously has an eagle on it. And the eagle has two things. The eagle has these two claws. One claw is holding what is it, olive branch, like for peace. The other claw is holding arrows for war. And the idea is like strong defense, but for peace, right? Trump is making them remove the olive branch for peace. Or the laurel leaf. I was thinking laurel, and then I thought olive, yeah. But the laurel leaf or olive branch or whatever it is, although olive branch is the expression we use to offer an olive branch. Reportedly, he's having them remove it because it's too peaceful. Trump claimed Zelensky is far more difficult to deal with than Putin and trying to reach a deal. Ukraine launched a huge drone attack on Moscow, the largest of 2026. Netanyahu requested talks with Zelensky to discuss cooperation on intercepting drones, which actually is good because basically, you may not like him, but Netanyahu, Israel's the world power in the region. And the fact that one more big country is seeing a usefulness to Israel is a good thing. One second here. Is a useful and good thing. Finally, I want to play you this last video, which I downloaded. Shoot, I don't know if I've got this handy. Quiet! I don't know that I've got this handy. Shoot. Oh, wait, yes I do. Yes I do. Yes I do. Listen carefully to the last 10 seconds of this video, okay? They're talking about some Republican member of Congress who's been sick.
We had one man who was very ill. It looked like he wasn't going to make it. I don't know. I won't mention his name. Should I? Do other people know his name? Do you want to mention it? He'll be proud. Go ahead. Tell him the story.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. President. Congressman Neil Dunn of Florida had some real health challenges, and it was very serious, and had a pretty grim diagnosis. And I mentioned it to the president, and I said, Congressman Dunn is a real champion and a patriot because he's still coming to work. And if others got this diagnosis, they would be apt to go home and retire. And
what was the diagnosis?
It was, I think it was a terminal diagnosis.
He would be dead by June.
Okay, that wasn't public, but yeah, okay, that's, it was grim.
We had one man who was very ill.
Trump outed the man's death sentence. Trump outed the man's death sentence. Now, first of all, the fact that he was terminally ill, I don't think was public, and the speaker made that mistake. Because the speaker, that's the Speaker of the House of Representatives, made that mistake, saying, well, because he said, well, he was very ill. And he goes, well, he was very ill, tell them. He goes, well, it was terminal. And Trump goes, he'd be dead by June. And he goes, well, I don't think people knew that. Yeah. This is the man he is. This is the man he is. He's an awful human being. This is the guy, there's a famous video of him at Christmas. And he and Melania, I think, are working the phones, the Santa hotline. And they're talking to kids. And he like answers the Santa hotline for kids and the gifts they want. And like one kid, he goes, you're a little, oh yeah, the kid, he goes, how old are you? I think the kid says 8. You're a little old to believe in Santa, aren't you? You know, he said like something like, you know, that's not real. Oh, God. And we're watching the video going, oh my God, the kid is calling the Santa hotline. I think he believes. And Trump told the kid Santa wasn't real. Oh, thank you for the gift, Dave. I've not been asking for gifts today. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Appreciate it. I mean, oh, and do follow me on TikTok. I always forget to ask you guys to do that too, to follow. So thank you. Yeah, doesn't believe in Santa anymore after the president of the United States outed him. Oh my God. Oh my God. Unbelievable. He's a horrible person. Anyway, we're not going to go too late tonight. I know I started late, but because we were trying the other program, but I didn't like it. So Oh my God. So yes, so the moral of the story is the war isn't going well, I don't think. I mean, it's going well in terms of we blew lots of stuff up and we knew we could. We set Iran's military back significantly. We knew we could. But, well, here's the thing. What's the goal, guys? Actually, here's the thing. Actually, perfect question, which actually is a good question to ask the administration. What needs to happen for us to declare victory? Trump keeps saying, I'll know it when I see it. No, this is a war. You literally need to know what it is. No business says I'll know it when I see it, right? What is it that has to happen? What is it that you want? Did you want to destroy all their missiles? Did you, right? I mean, what's the actual goal? He can't say. That's the problem with Trump being unable to define any of the goals. If you can't define, hey, stop. My elderly dog who can't hear very well, who's just whining again. If you can't define the goals of the war, it never ends because you're never satisfied, right? Well, did it clip when I yelled or is it clipping normally? I need to know actually, Riley, because I've got it turned up louder than I like because the YouTube people or I think the YouTube people were complaining and I don't like it up this high. The mic's fine overall. Yeah, if I yell at the dog, it's going to clip, but that's normal. Okay. I mean, I expect it to clip when I yell. She's over 16 now. She's 16 in a couple months. So yeah, but right. What are we fighting for? We don't know what we're fighting for. Oh, see, that's what I'm turning it down a little, guys. There, I turned it down a bit because I don't like it that high. Because that high to me does sound like I tested it years ago. That high was higher than I liked. In any case, it's a little lower now. But if you don't know why we're there, if you cannot articulate a good reason for why we went to war, you will not be able to decide when we leave, right? I mean, like in Russia's case, Russia wants to obliterate all of Ukraine, or at the very least, take all of Eastern Ukraine, right? That's well, for starters, guys on YouTube, turn up the volume. Have you tried turning up the volume? Because the setting used to work before. I just don't want to be clipped though. Fine, I'll go back up a little. Any case, so yeah, if we don't know the reason for it, the war's never going to end. It's never going to end. Is it, Mac? All right, I'm going back, but I'm still worried about it clipping though, like he said. All right, I'll move my mic away a bit. In any case, all right, guys. All right. SAS is sharing images of the Strait of Hormuz. Anyway, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. YouTube literally lowered you. All right. Anyway, I already turned it back up, guys. It's pretty much back to where it was. All right. I'm going to sign off, guys. We're a quarter after. I don't want to ruin my voice. having to yell at the dog bothered my voice. But I will be back tomorrow, as always. Thank you, Stormy, for the last-minute gifts. 6 o'clock Eastern Time, U.S. We come here every night, so join us. And I'll be back then, so come join us. Sorry, lots of TikTokers today. Have a good day. So in principle, Wednesday, Max Miller is going to join us. Max is, but on TikTok probably only, because I think it's going to be too hard to do it elsewhere. We'll see, but I think it's going to be too hard to do it elsewhere. Max is the famous tasting history guy. Max finds old recipes that are several hundred years or maybe even several thousand years old and bakes them and then gives you a history. His videos are great. Gives you a history lesson in the interim, like a 5-minute history lesson. It's really cool. So he is going to be joining us Wednesday. I've got to email him and make sure it's still on for Wednesday. If he's got to move it, we'll move it. But keep that in mind because that would be great fun. As soon as he confirms, actually, I'll set up one of those things in advance on TikTok and figure out if I can invite him. I don't even know how to do it. TikTok is so hard. I want to bring him on as a co-host, and I never quite remember how to do that. Oh, they're the viewer wishes. You know what we got to do too? I've got to remember on Wednesday to turn off the viewer wishes. Mods, try to remind me, like, at some point, maybe after Tuesday's show, to turn that off. Because if the viewer wishes are on, it won't let me do the guest, which is stupid. But TikTok, whatever. Oh, Whiny McWeinstein is still down here going. Oh my God. All right. All right. Commercial volume? I don't know what that even means. All right, guys. I'm going to sign off 6 o'clock Eastern. So Max Miller is going to be joining us Wednesday at 6 o'clock Eastern time U.S. So join us then. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Arrivederci. Hasta luego. Ciao. That works in many languages, including Greek. I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, Discord starting with you. Then doing, oh my God, she's just going to drive me fucking bonkers. I hate it. It's been an hour and 15 minutes of her I don't know if you can hear it. It's non-freaking stop. All right, goodbye, YouTube, etc.